What's up?
Hello.
I am Kelly, too sexy for a full mask Keen.
And I am Dawn, writing and funning, Glenn.
Love it. Oh, God, how I cringed at that line.
And the fact that Norman has said, they went back and added that line into episode 1. And at the very, very end of filming the season. So we could have it bookend the season. Oh, if we never hear that phrase again. It's too soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally how Carol and Daryl started off season 10 too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
God, this show, I don't get it. Oh, I lost our little logo here. Hang on, or not our logo, but our little there.
Oh, there we go. Hey, that's all right. I don't mind being covered by Carol.
Right, there we go.
There we go. There we are. Yes.
Anyway, welcome back. If you guys aren't, if you guys are familiar with us, if you're not, welcome. We are Cyber Queen, and we are covering Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 3, the finale called Solaz. So glad the season's over finally. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I am tired. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I mean, I'm tired, but also it's just, this episode as an episode was actually quite good. I quite enjoyed it compared to, some of the others.
Yeah.
But there's just been so many issues with the writing and so many issues with all the interviews that we're getting that just, I'm infuriated. More than anything, I'm just infuriated because you're on the edge of something brilliant. It's really close to good, and they always veer in the opposite direction. And I'm like, no, you could. And I'm not just talking about Daryl and Carol romantic, but in terms of the stories, and the story itself is a good story, and I'll go into reasons why I think this story is better. But I just I just don't enjoy Zabel as a showrunner. She said politely.
No. And I don't think that unless you're just starting off your Walking Dead universe experience with this show, I don't think you should. There's he's an objectively bad fit for this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think especially his representation of women, how he sees women. We've seen a friend of ours doing research about his time as showrunner on ER, and I saw someone tweeting that apparently he was the one who got rid of Alex Kingston. Now, Alex Kingston is like my second below Melissa McBride in terms of queens. So don't be dissing Alex Kingston, but it says so much about him that he doesn't know how to write strong women at all. He doesn't know what to do with them. And even Janae last season, that he reduced her to, she's just a simple woman who wants to have a family with her husband.
Oh my God. Seriously, I can't. That comment blew my mind. I remember you actually told me that because I missed that.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, and I just remember my jaw just dropped. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yes. The fact that he used that phrase, simple woman, like, no, she's currently a dictator of France. That's not a simple person. And there was absolutely no indication that she was all about wanting a child, even in the scene with her husband when we got the flashback. That wasn't. Oh, yeah. I don't think he is the man who should be writing for this show at all, or directing its direction.
Not at all. Not at all. But we unfortunately still have to get through this episode. But like you said, this actually was a little better than some of the others.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think the plotting was good, and we were getting good action that was better than, was it episode 4? I can 3 or 4 that was so slow and nothing. So this was definitely up there as a better episode, but it certainly was not the best episode ever.
No, no, definitely not. All right, let's jump into the recap. I am
Yeah.
going to, if you guys are not familiar with how we work things, we we start off with a detailed recap, and then we go into like our top and bottom fives and our MVPs and LVPs, and we mark the chapters so you can kind of skip through them. Every once in a while, I forget to mark the chapters, so if that happens, please give me a heads up in the comments because I will see it. I promise. But I think I forgot to do that for one of the episodes recently, and I felt really bad about it. This episode may come out a little bit later because we're recording on Sunday, and I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to get it up today, so it may not drop until tomorrow, Monday, the day after. But that's the latest. Then
Yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna mind.
yeah, I don't think so either. But I'm gonna mute myself because I am going to be way too tempted to jump in with commentary in several scenes.
Yeah, we'll save
So
that until we get to the actual discussion.
yeah. All right. So Dawn,
Okay.
take us into the recap, why don't you?
Okay, this finale opens up and we see the Camino de Santiago statue where Daryl had left the Rubik's Cube. We see a figure approaching it, a hooded figure with a stick, and he reaches, grabs for the Rubik's Cube, picks it up, and that's when the reveal shows it is Cadron, our favourite Frenchman, and he has somehow made it to Spain. Um, so meanwhile, we go to Solaz where Fede is torturing Antonio. Fede says to him, you and Mr. Dixon have made yourselves a problem, and he wants to know where is Daryl and what is he doing. It's quite funny that he's not bringing up Carol. Carol's not a problem. He thinks Carol's just fine. Meanwhile, outside El Alcazar, Daryl and Paz have shown up after their failed attempt to save Justina. Um, Conveniently, there are people from Alcazar there looking for labourers to work at the matching event. Paz, looking off at the palace, I suppose it is, has a flashback to the beating she had when she tried to save Elena the last time, and when she was left in the street for dead. And she tells Daryl that at that point, when they left her, she lost all hope and gave up. Daryl says, a friend of his says, bet on hope. French people say that. French people talk like that. And we see that Paz is resolute and she says, I did come all this way to give up. So they volunteer to become labourers at the matching event. At the lighthouse, the Carol is has brought Roberto here for his safety, and Roberto was angry at Antonio and what he saw that Antonio caused his mother's death. And they're talking, and Roberto says Antonio's a coward. Carol defends him and says that isn't fair. Roberto says, well, in that case, he's fooled you too. Carol talks about how Roberto's too young to remember the way things were after the turn, and that everybody gave up hope, and the not just hope of in that moment, but hope of ever being happy. But Antonio never gave up on Roberto, and she tells Roberto she is going back to save his father. At El Alcazar, we see Justina sitting before a mirror. She's being prepped for the matching event. Guillermo walks in to speak to Paz, to Elena about Paz. He reveals he saw her, he saw how she looked at her, and he simply says, I gave you the world, and walks away angrily. But Elena is helping Justina, brings a dress to her, and Justina begs Elena for help to get out. But Elena, it seems Elena has given up, and she says, if you see those girls scrubbing the floor down there, that's what happens if you don't get chosen, and they see that the girls are beaten. And Justina is rightly horrified. Back at Solaz, Valentina's two friends, whose name I never learned. I think that they do. He just Gustavo says their names in the scene, but I missed what it was. They arrive. They tell Gustavo they've come to town to go to the store because they have got washed up, a crate of mustard washed up, and they're going in just to drop some things off. He looks suspicious but allows them in, and we see that Carol is hiding away in the back of the truck. Nobody ever checks the backs of trucks. uh, Daryl and Paz arrive at El Alcazar with all the others labourers. They're given masks, and Paz comments that's so the rich don't have to look at these people. They are given black coats and are given instruction to carry chairs and set things up for the big evening ahead. In Solaz, Donna Marga is walking home through town and she feels all the eyes on her. People are whispering about her. They know about Freddy's lies because Antonio told everybody in the square. She confronts Freddy about it. Of course, he brushes it off and says, are you going to believe the Americans instead of me? They're strangers. I'm your son. So she says, well, it's not me that needs convincing. You have to convince everyone out there, so you should give them an answer to the questions that they are questioning. And so we see moments later, Fede is gathering the townsfolk and gives them a speech about how the Americans have abused their kindness. They brought them in, and the Americans have done all these things. The woman has escaped, but and the man has escaped, but it's okay because we've got a traitor. We've caught him, and he says El Alcazar will want justice. So we can't do anything with the Americans, but we can do something to our traitor. And he brings out Antonio all tied up, and he's given the same punishment as the others are. We see that Carol is watching this from a distance with one of Valentina's friends, who translates for her what's happening. She nearly rushes to help Antonio, but he stops her. At El Alcazar, the noble people are enjoying the show. It's the evening. They're watching walkers strung up as puppets dancing around, doing a show that seems to be, as is the tradition of these kind of things, mocking the king. And the king gives a speech saying that the flame of human consciousness must keep burning, and points out to his son, Guillermo, he'll continue his reign along with his queen. A record is put on, and the girls who are going to be chosen are presented. They walk out in these beautiful 19th century dresses. Justina's at the front, and they line up around on a raised platform, waiting to be chosen by the young men who come up and pick them one at a time. There's only one man left, and fearing she won't be chosen, Justina lets down her hair to give her an advantage, and the nobleman picks up a flower and chooses her and invites her to come and sit at the table with him. We see that she takes a knife and slides it up her sleeve. Watching all of this, of course, is Paz and Daryl, who are serving. Paz asks Daryl if he has a plan, and he says he's still working on it and slips away from the group. It's nighttime back in Solaz, and Antonio sees a figure through his blurred vision. It's Carol, come to cut him down. Just she just shows up. She just hangs around the street, shows up, and of course, as soon as she immediately cuts him down, Fede and his men have been watching and start shooting at them, so they run for cover. Back at El Alcazar, we see that Daryl has snuck backstage. He headbutts the guy in charge of the puppets, and Daryl cuts them loose. The walkers break free, come through the curtain, and start attacking the royalty and causing chaos. A lamp is knocked over and sets the curtains on fire, so creating even more chaos. People start running everywhere. Both Justina and Elena are rushed away by their men, and Daryl tells Paz, go after Elena and meet me back at the bike. Back at Solaz, Carol and Antonio are trying to evade Freddy's men. There's a shootout, and but thankfully a door opens and it's Alba's mother, who ushers them into her home to hide. Uh, in El Alcazar, Daryl sees the unchosen girl sitting by a fire, looking scared, while he's looking for Justina. In Solaz, Freddy sends his men after Carol and Antonio and tells them to release the dogs, i.e., the walkers. Paz at the palace enters Elena's room and reveals herself, as Elena draws a knife on her. They embrace, have a wonderful reunion, and Elena reveals the reason she had to return to the palace. She has a young son, Pablo, with Guillermo. He's woken by all the noise, and Elena introduces Paz as her dearest friend. A guard enters and Paz attacks. Guillermo follows, and she flashes back to show us that when Paz was attacked and left for dead, it was Guillermo that was beating her. She He tells her that now Paz and Elena can be together every night because he's going to kill them both. Thankfully, Elena comes in and stabs Guillermo in the back, and then Paz finishes the job and kills him. Hurrah! Daryl is running through the halls of the palace and meets the Walker King. He kills him, puts him down. Inside a room, we see that Justina and her beau are. He says he's trying to protect her, but she pulls a knife on him and tells him he needs to help her. She needs a vehicle to get away. He grabs her, wrestles the knife from her, and starts to choke her. Just as she's losing strength, someone crashes in and saves her. It's Daryl. Hooray! Justina hugs him with joy, and he and Justina rush out and they find the other girls and bring them along. So both the Unchosen who were with Justina and one of the servants. At Alba's house, we see that Carol is asleep on a couch as they're waiting for everything outside to quiet down. Antonio strokes her face and wakes her up with a cup of tea. He asks, why did she come back, risking her life? And Carol says she did it for Roberto, for you, for us. Just as they're sharing a moment, there's some voices. The guards are coming to check every house. Thankfully, Alba takes them and lets them out of a back door, which leads them down to sort of the lower part of the town through a gate. Um, they're helped out, and they believe that they can get a free run to the gates from there. But of course, the walkers have been released, so they're attacked by walkers. But Carol and Antonio finish them off, and Gustavo appears and says, "Come with me, and I'll get you out of the town." Uh, at El Alcazar, Daryl and the girls he's rescued are all making their way out of the palace, but everything is a massive fight. There's flames, there's people on fire. Daryl's nearly killed as he's fighting, but Justina saves him with her knife that she has, and they all manage to get out of the burning building. We then see that they're outside safely with Paz and Elena, back with their vehicles, and they're saying their goodbyes. Um, Justina is given a warm coat from Elena, and Paz says they're safest if they go back to the refugee camp. That's where she's going to take all the girls. And Daryl jokes, "I hope the kid isn't driving," because Elena's son is sitting in the front seat of the car. Um, Daryl and Paz have a nice goodbye. Paz says that thank you for everything you've done, and he says, "I couldn't have done it without you." And then he says, "Nah, I probably could," which a bit close to the bone. She wishes him good luck, and they say goodbye. She and Elena are off to start their new life. Justina, meanwhile, says to Daryl that she's never been on a bike before, and he says, "Well, have you ever been on a boat? Because you're coming to America with us." So she gets on the bike and they ride across Spain. They stop someplace to refill the bike, and Daryl has another flashback to his youth. This time he hears adult Meryl saying, "Things are different now. People got to do what they got to do or they die." Justina asks Daryl about how if he's okay, and she could never imagine what her father or uncle did. And Daryl says, "Well, in this world, you either go bad or good." She says, "Well, you went good, but why have you done all this, risked so much for us?" And he says, the world is messed up, and he felt like something got lost, the chance to really have something. It's not going to happen for me, but I wanted you and Roberto to have this chance. Daryl and Justina ride his bike across the country. We get lots of homages to spaghetti westerns in the shots, and they arrive at the lighthouse where Justina rushes in to see Roberto. When Daryl follows, he's attacked by one of Freddy's men, and Justina's been grabbed by one. From above, uh, uh, Valentina shoots, uh, hits one of the men. Daryl fights them, kills both of the men, and they rush up to find an injured Valentina. She says Roberto made her hide in the crawl space, and Roberto was taken by Freddy's men. Daryl asks where Carol is, and she says she went to get Antonio, and Daryl says, by herself? And Valentina says, no, she took her friends with them. And Daryl tells Justina to stay there. He's going back to get Roberto and Carol to save them. At Freddy's, it is revealed that Gustavo had betrayed Carol and Antonio for meds for his sick wife. He seems ashamed of it and walks away. Freddy says, isn't it interesting that we say that you sacrifice everything for your ones you love, but often it's the ones that love you that do all the sacrificing. But to their surprise, he tells Carol and Antonio they're free to go, but he doesn't think they're going to go, because when they go outside, they open the door to see that Roberto's standing in the middle of the square, chained to Valentina's now dead friends, and this is the punishment for all three of them. They tried to free Roberto before the um, two men turn, but they're turning, and all the people are watching from behind their windows and doors. Freddy says he promised an execution, and Sergio says, oh, is this a public execution? And he says, yeah, everybody's watching. Alba tries to throw Carol a knife, but it's shot away from her before she can reach it. Just as the two men turn and start attacking, Carol and Antonio fight as best they can. Antonio wraps the chain around his wrist. Carol punches walkers. Amazing. And suddenly there's a shot, rings out. Both of those walkers are killed. It's Daryl on the balcony, and a gunfight begins. And just in the middle of it, Roberto suddenly spies Justina walking towards him. As she walks, there's walkers going towards her, and she just walks calmly through. Freddy shoots all the walkers in her way, and she arrives in the town centre shouting that Freddy lied. Donna Marga's horrified, slaps her son in the face for all he's done. Meanwhile, Justina and Roberto and Carol and Antonio embrace, while Daryl looks down movidly, emotionally, we'll call it that. In the square, sometime later, Freddy's men ride off. Antonio says Daryl's not safe here. It doesn't matter what they've done here. El Alcazar will still want justice. And Gustavo brings out a shackled Freddy. They plan to kill him, but Justina says, no, if we do that, we will be as bad as they are. We're not going to lower ourselves up. We'll just put him in the dungeon. She also tells the town that Daryl has destroyed El Alcazar, and the ofrenda will never happen again. At the beach, happy endings all round. Justina and Roberto are enjoying their time together, while Daryl watches wistfully. Antonio apologizes to Daryl that they're all going with him. That obviously wasn't what he set out, and Daryl says, that stuff happens. And he asks Antonio if he can sail. Daryl sits down on the beach. Carol joins him and says, well, they should finally eat their hot dogs free. And Daryl starts speaking to her about what he's been going through his mind. And he says, the whole time he's been trying to get home, why did you leave in the first place? Why did you get into a fight in Maine and was taken on that boat? Why didn't you leave France when you could? He says, I've spent my whole life running and fighting. And he says, it doesn't make any sense. he's afraid that when they get home, he's going to hear that voice again telling him he's got to go. Carol says, maybe you won't this time. And Daryl says, maybe. And they hug, and Daryl looks off into the distance. In his cell, we see Fede. Donna Marga's bringing him food. He asks her to help him and says, you've already lost one son. You don't need to save the other. And he says, you know that when Justina leaves, they'll kill me. And just Donna Marga contemplates it. At night, back on the beach, Carol wakes up in the bed in the boat to see Daryl's bunk is empty. He's standing outside thinking when Fede arrives behind him and holds him at gunpoint. He shouts at him that everything is his fault, calls him a damn Yankee, and says, see you never. Just as he's about to shoot Daryl, Carol jumps from the boat onto Fede and knocks him. The others rush to fight. So Antonio knocks Fede out, but his stray gunfire has set fire to the boat and it's now vastly ablaze. They try and put it out, but explosions erupt. Meanwhile, someplace across the land, Codron sees the flames and, of course, suddenly knows that's Daryl and Carol. Where there be fire, there be Daryl and Carol. And the last shot is Daryl and Carol looking at the burning boat and their hopes of getting back to America destroyed once again.
Yeah, of course it's Carol and Daryl, and of course Cadrone would just randomly be right there, Cadrone from France would just of course be right there.
He would know to go to France, to go to Spain, because he just knows stuff. He phoned Daryl, and I think there was a lot of phone calls going on in this episode. Yeah, I think a lot of people were telling, hey, shall we go back to town? No, meet us at the lighthouse. Carol phoned Daryl and told him.
I'm telling you, it's all Zazu.
It is Zazu. You're right. Zazu, bring him back.
Zazu, Cadrone found Zazu and has been working with him, and he's upgraded his gear now. He's like got a little drone attached to him too now. And they're partners in crime, and that's how Cadrone knows exactly where Carol and Daryl are. And Zazu is still the MVP of the series.
Still the MVP, yes.
Okay. Yeah, that Cadrone scene. We both got some thoughts on that, I think.
Yes, we do. It will come up in my list.
Yeah, for sure. Why don't we go into our suspenders awards?
Yes. First. Okay. My suspenders award this week go to Guillermo. We knew he was bad because he's involved in a friend. He's got his wife by that, but now we learn that how much he abused Paz and obviously took great glee in it. So hooray! I'm glad he's dead. People sort of at the start of the season were like, oh, he's going to be the big baddie, and obviously he isn't really because he hasn't done much. But that kind of makes him even more of a loser because he's just this protected royal guy who has all these soldiers doing his bidding, and he just swans about in a nice car with his wife, his chattel, his bought wife, essentially. So what a scumbag.
Yeah, I hear ya. That's a good choice. My LVP is, and I might be proven wrong when season 4 comes around, and this person might not be getting this fairly, and the explanation could be something else, but I'm just going on the surface level. Donna Marga.
Yes, I knew where you were going with that. Yep.
It's one thing when you've got an evil character who's just evil, like who's just a bad guy, like Fede, like Guillermo.
Yeah.
But when you've got somebody who seems like they actually do have a moral conscience, and she slapped Fede. She
Yeah.
knows what he did, but he somehow manages to manipulate her into letting him out of his cell.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And now they're like, after everything he did, and now the boat's on fire, and what the fuck are you doing, Donna
Yeah.
Marta?
I suppose if we cast our minds back to episode 2, was it, or 3, where she defends the ofrenda and says to Carol, "Well, you're on your own. What have you got that's better? You know, if you find a better
Yeah.
way." Where so she was she's very boy mom, that
Yes.
boys will be boys kind of mom. So yeah, boo to that kind of woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
who
Not happy. Not
no,
happy with her this
no,
week at all.
no. Um,
Um,
yeah, my angel wings. I had to give it to Daryl this week.
yeah.
I would have liked to have given it to Carol, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, he did great this episode. Determined to carry on, save all the girls, save Justina, Bustin like the big hero, and be happy that he's reunited. Justina and Roberto saved two romances because Paz got her happy ending with Elena, and Justina's with Roberto, and he's even happy for Carol. So what a good guy.
Yeah.
I said
Yeah.
through gritted teeth.
Yeah, I mean, he literally did everything, other, except for make it back to Solaz in time to kill Fede.
Yeah, yeah,
Which wasn't
yeah,
on the plan, which wasn't
yeah.
part of the plan anyway. But he did everything.
Mhm.
There's like, you can't really give it to anybody else. I mean,
No,
he fucking destroyed Alcazar.
oh, sorry, yeah. So
Yeah, like, no more ofrenda. I mean, yeah, Daryl was the ultimate hero, which
yeah,
kinda makes me a little salty, but
yes,
whatever.
yeah, me too.
Um, but there's more about that in my list, so I'll save it for
Yeah,
that.
you will. Yeah. We'll get into the
Um,
juicy bits good soon.
yeah, yeah, exactly. All right, so let's start with, what is your number 5?
So are we doing best
The
first or
the
worst?
bad one
The
first.
bad one first. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 5 is Valentina's lovers died for just cause. And I was like, hang on, everybody's getting their lovely happy ending, but Valentina's not. She's not getting to stay with her two lovers. She's being punished for having two men. And they died off screen, and it was meh. No, I was really hoping that they would succeed and get out and go back to Valentina or something. But of course, it's the world of Daryl and Carol. Whenever Daryl shows up, death follows.
Yeah, yeah.
So then,
Um,
yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
that's so funny because that's my number 5 too.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, Danielle and Rodo are their
Yeah.
names.
Oh, that's it,
Um,
Daniel.
yeah, or Balky, because the one guy totally looks like
Mm.
Balky Bartakmas, Bronson Pinchot. Um, but, yeah, that pissed me off.
Yeah.
That pissed me off that they killed them off. I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
So, like, poor Valentina is just, like, all alone now.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I mean, I'm guessing that they killed them off so that she could be, like, part of that she can have a bigger role next year without
I
them
hope
kind of
so.
getting in the way,
Yeah,
is
I
what I'm
really hope
assuming.
so. But I have to say I haven't heard of her filming. Um,
Really?
yeah. So we'll have to
Mm.
check with the people in the know of these things, but I have not heard of her filming. If she's
Oh,
not in it at
that's
all. Interestingly, there was a script leak from this episode. I think possibly a crew member posted it and then took it down. But it was one where you could only see a tiny, tiny little bit. And it was this end scene on the beach. And Valentina was in that scene. where Daryl says to her, "I'm really sorry about your friends." That was cut, and Valentina wasn't there. So I wonder if she was originally going to be there and getting on the boat with them, but then for some reason not. Which I
Yeah.
would have been all for that. Bring Valentina, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
oh god, that upsets me. I really like I actually would have really loved to have seen more of the three of them
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
'Cause
That would
it's
be great.
just, it's such it's such an unusual it's not
Mhm.
something you see every day,
No.
that sort of relationship, and I think it's really cool, and it sucks that the show killed them and left her by herself.
Yeah, I
Sucks.
mean,
I'm angry.
it's a dynamic you don't often see or be represented, and the fact that the world they're in, all rules are off really.
Yeah.
So all this, the one benefit you can take from the apocalypse is we're starting with a clean slate. Let's start society again. So these rules we have about one person and one person, if you're not inclined for that, then and you want everybody's happy with it to have a thruple or whatever, however many, then go for it. The apocalypse is the place to do it. But no, we have to kill them off, and they should be morally punished for it. Like when
So
somebody has sex in a horror film.
yeah.
Yeah,
Really annoying.
yeah,
It's so funny because it's like that, that's such a trope too,
hmm yeah,
like you just said, but what's so funny is, like, one of my favorite horror films is basically all about that trope and is basically, a pro-abstinence movie, and that's It Follows. Have you seen It Follows?
no, I haven't. No,
It's really good. It's really creepy. I mean, I if I remember correctly, I would think it's a little polarizing.
all right,
Um,
okay,
I think you either love it or hate it,
yeah,
but I freaking love it. I thought it was brilliant, but it's like that trope to the extreme.
all
It's
right.
it's basically like you get punished for having sex with people.
Oh, cool.
Um, but, yeah, very, very super eerie movie. Um, so what is your number 4?
Okay, my number four. These are all kind of big things, I think, in terms of plot. So my number four is Daryl saying he has done nothing but running and fighting. No, no, you haven't. It was Carol that did the running. Carol's the one that left multiple times, ran away, and you told her not to run away because you
Yeah,
didn't want her to. Suddenly we're rewriting history. It was Daryl that did that.
yeah,
Daryl ran away once to the woods. Once.
once, that's it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and tried to run off once before that because they weren't letting Merle into the prison, and he didn't wanna be
yeah,
separated from
yeah,
his brother.
yeah.
Um, that was it. Like, I that whole thing is so freaking annoying to me, and this is the problem with having a showrunner that just had no connection
Yeah,
to the original series. Um, yeah, that was I mean, Carol and Daryl's relationship, they destroyed Carol and Daryl's relationship
yeah,
because for that reason,
yeah,
because of Carol's running off.
yeah. That was the whole thing. Fight in Find Me was what it was about.
Yeah,
Carol kept
and
running.
Carol and Daryl have still never been the same
No,
since.
they've not. No, and we were
Um,
promised they would have a big talk about it. We'd need a big resolve. I'm pretty sure they talked about it on Talking Dead. That yeah, we would get that moment.
yeah,
Still waiting.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's that infuriated me.
Yeah,
Um, oh god.
yeah. The fact that that's number four on the list shows you where we're going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I have. Sometimes you're just picking out small, inconsistencies and things. Like I haven't included my issue with the lighthouse scene in this, but I'll won't say anything until you said all yours, just in case you do. But yeah, these are big. story issues that I've got a problem with.
Yeah, I hear ya. That is no, I'm right there with you. That was not my number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, my number 4 is Jonah Marga letting Fede out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just we didn't see it happen.
No.
So,
No.
like, maybe we'll find out that Fede is even more evil than we thought, and he,
Yes.
like, killed
Killed his
her.
own mother. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that. Yeah. How bad is
Um,
he?
yeah, but so who knows?
Yeah.
But, I mean, as of right now, I'm just taking it at surface
Yes.
at face
That's all
value.
we can do is judge it on what we've seen.
Yeah. So that's my number 4. It would have
Yeah.
been higher if not for the fact that it could still be changed
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
to something
Yeah.
else.
It can. Yes. You're saying it with the caveat that I'll take this back if it's revealed that she didn't let him out voluntarily.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um. So my number 3 is Carol saving Antonio. What was she doing? The Carol of the main show would have had some plan, some distraction, an explosion over there, and something happens, and they can rush in and cut down there. Some clever plan, something that was more than I'll wait till it's dark and then just wander out into the middle of the square in front of Eddie's house and cut him down.
Yeah.
What? That Carol is smarter than that. She would have thought it through. And did she just hang about the street until it got dark? It just makes no sense for the character that we know that she would do it this way. She would absolutely rescue him, but she would be a whole lot smarter about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. My number 3 was similar, but it was just I freaking I I don't like I'm still uncertain if and they gave the word for it too, and I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. That torture method.
Oh yeah, they
Um,
did. I meant to write it down as well. So
yeah.
Dante,
Um,
yeah,
it's Strapato.
Strapato. There we go. Well done.
Yes. Um, it yeah, apparently the way that it worked is they would do it for like it was a form of non-lethal torture.
Hmm.
So they would do it for like an hour.
All right.
And then let them go.
Hmm.
If they happen to die, then yeah,
Yeah.
great. But if they didn't, then I mean, they'll probably be super messed up physically
Yeah.
for a long time because that they're destroying your
Yeah.
body.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's I hate torture in general,
Mm.
and I just I didn't like seeing Antonio.
Mm.
I already saw it once, and I didn't like seeing them do that to Antonio. It was just
Yeah.
really uncomfortable, and I didn't like it, and
Yeah.
yeah, that was
And
my
the
number.
fact they just tied him up there and then left him, and everybody, for whereas the last time we saw it, it was like it was going to be a fairly swift thing because they were adding weights, and it would be a sort of punish you until you either reveal what you want to reveal or whatever or die. But this was just like, we'll just put him there and leave him,
Yeah,
which even more cruel.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my number 2 is pick or choose which one of the two, but we'll go with number 2. Is Daryl doing all the saving? I just I thought that the stuff at El Alcazar was good, but I could not help but think how much better it would have been just like before with Carol. Um, the how strong a narrative, how powerful a message it would have been if this was Carol helping all these girls, these young women, save themselves,
Yeah,
empowering them to do it themselves, rather than Daryl crashes through the door, kills the guy, so Justina gets away, and then there's all these girls who weren't chosen, and the servants who are just sitting waiting, and he, no. Or even if it had been Justina, if Justina had been given more power to do it herself, that Daryl's there to back her up, the way Paz was sort of last week, Paz and Daryl were working as a team. If Justina had been given more agency for herself, but of course, I would have preferred Carol. I wanted to see this whole show. I want Carol and Daryl to be working as a team, being the badass duo that the poster advertises them as, working together, killing together, and I just missed her in it. And I know again that it's the whole Western homage, that of course it's always the stranger who comes into town and saves everyone, but we're past that in media culture now, and I don't want to go back there. That it's just superhero Daryl.
Yeah, absolutely. This is number 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My number 2 was the I forgot what it's called again, with the performance.
Oh, the puppets, the walkers.
Yeah. Walkers on marionettes.
Marionettes. Yeah. That's all. Yeah, marionettes is what I would just call it.
Okay, first of all, how did they get these walkers stage ready?
That's exactly, because that's what I said when we were discussing it. Was it off screen we discussed it? Because you were like, is it walkers? And I'm going, oh, surely it's people because they've got makeup on.
Yeah. And I mean, even dressing them would be like super dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they could do stuff like, tie their hands and like, shove something in there.
Gag them. Yeah.
But still, my main problem is that I thought it was cheesy, but at the same time super cool when they did the Walker Orchestra in the
in season 2,
in the other season,
but season 1, whatever it was.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not completely unbelievable that Walker Entertainment would be a thing. Like, we even kind of saw it in season 3 with the Walker fights in Woodbury.
Yeah.
But still, it just seemed a little repetitive.
And it's I don't like when shows make people behave as if they have no experience in life. They've been through like 14 years or whatever it is of the apocalypse there. You think they would think, this keeps going wrong. Let's keep walkers at a distance from us. Let's not put them up, with nothing between us to protect them. Having them in a cage, yeah, that totally makes sense. Doing stuff with them in the cage, but having them there, no, when they can so easily, because we've seen, if their bodies are disintegrating, you can pull the walker off an arm off a walker really easily. So how good is tying them up if they just go slump out of it, leave their arms there, and just come as a chomping armless walker?
And plus there's just the whole gross factor of these were people. These were living people at one time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not very sentimental, so like, when I die, I don't want to be buried. I want to be cremated. Like, don't, unless I'm buried in a way that benefits the environment. Otherwise, I don't understand. I understand that like funerals and burials and everything, they're for the living.
Yeah.
It's an important closure process. But as far as I'm concerned, like, you can throw my body in the trash and piss all over my dead body. I won't care. I'm dead.
Yeah.
But still, it's like showing so little respect for the dead people, like for the these walkers that were once people, by dressing them up and turning them into a spectacle is a bit much.
Yeah. I guess where it's meant to show us how these royals see underlings of any kind, that they don't even see their servants as people, so let alone their walkers. So there is a connection that way. That could a good statement could be made, but in the better hands of better writers.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I do have a tie though for my number 2.
Yes. Okay.
And the reason it's a tie is because they're both in here for kind of the same reason.
Yeah.
And it's the repetitiveness. Cadrone.
Yeah. Well, Cadron is my number 1, so that's fine. We can talk about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll do my other number. We'll talk about my other number 2 and your number 1 right now.
Yes. So yes, it is the fact that it is exactly the same story they did with Morgan.
Exactly.
Down to the carrying the stick and the hood and the backpack. It is like, are we meant to have forgotten Morgan? Is this a homage? I can't tell. And that's the same thing with this show all the way through, with all the parallels to Isabel, but with Antonio. Where are we meant to see those parallels, or is it lazy writing? And it's the same with this.
Yeah, down to, I mean, Cadron didn't leave an offering; he picked up an offering.
Yes.
But like it was, but still, there was a theme of leaving an offering there,
Yes.
which Morgan did with the whatever it was. He had a
remember.
rabbit's foot and a bullet,
Yeah.
and that candy. I forget.
Oh yes, the cat. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the candy bar. But I can't remember what candy bar it was too, and it's gonna kill me because it's something that I actually really like.
Was it Three Musketeers? I named the only American candy bar I know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I can't remember what it was. But yeah, it's so super repetitive.
Yeah.
Super repetitive.
So
and we like Cadron.
Yeah, we are delighted, but also how utterly ridiculous. When they first announced it was going to be in France, and everybody mocked it, and Norman Reedus was very angry about that. Did he ride his motorcycle under the water? And okay, the reason we got explanation for Daryl getting there made some sense, not a huge amount, but some, and it worked. And then Carol coming, and so it becomes more ridiculous. Okay, but Carol got across in a plane, that's fine. But the fact she found Daryl in the whole of France, when I can be in the same supermarket as my mother and not find her, it's so unbelievable. And now we have Cadron in a different country where they were not going. They were not intending to go. He doesn't know they are there. He doesn't know they were going there because they went to England. Why would he be there, presumably looking for them? I mean, maybe they'll answer it in the next season, but I don't hold that much hope.
He must have just felt really bad about beating up Daryl. Like, dude, it's okay, People get high and do crazy stuff. By the way, it was a Goo Goo cluster. I just remembered it.
Oh, Goo Goo cluster. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, those are delicious, by the way. But you don't really see them anymore. Like, I used to see them all the time when I was a kid, but I don't, like, they're still around, I think, but they're just not you don't see them anymore. Really see them anymore. But yeah, it was just, it doesn't make sense to me. It seems really corny.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't get it. Like, I don't know. I don't really know that I have a whole lot more to say about it, honestly.
Yeah. No. Okay, so what's your number 1?
So my number 1 is actually the whole running and fighting thing. Like, it was the biggest retcon for me this season. It pissed me off so much because that was Carol's thing.
Yeah.
And Daryl went off on her for it. And because he had enough of it, and it's what effectively destroyed their relationship.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, permanently, because we've never got that Carol and Daryl back.
No.
Ever. And it's just suddenly somehow this becomes his story, his issue.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It makes zero sense. I mean, even his speech didn't make any sense.
No.
Why did I could say, okay, so why did I go off in the first place? Okay, so yeah, I guess he could have he could have told Maggie, no, I want to
Yeah.
stay here. Sure. Why did I get in a fight with that guy? Okay, maybe. I mean, but he had a good reason to be pissed off. They killed that kid.
Yeah, the young guy. Yeah.
So that I understand, but why didn't I leave France when I had the chance? So what? You were just gonna leave Laurent to die?
Yes, yes. This is what my worry is that the answer to those questions are so screamingly obvious, and we were about to spend another entire season of him coming to the realization that, oh, I didn't leave France because I love Laurent, because he's what makes me happy. I needed a child of my own, even though he was at that point Judith and RJ's uncle and was their main caregiver. Their parents were both gone, and he left them. So we don't know if he left them because he wanted a child of his own, or what. And the whole, the flashbacks. We really want to explore his childhood, but all we got from this is he had an abusive childhood. Yep. Okay, we know that. And he was told to run. Okay, that makes sense. Run to look back. But there was no conclusions coming from it. There was no great insight that Daryl has had, even though we've been seeing these flashbacks for the entire season. He hasn't gone, you know what, I'm starting to realize that home was a terrible place for me, or whatever it is. We kept seeing the sign dead end, and I was thinking, are we meant to home as a dead end to him, something like that. But to have that as the main theme of the season and to have no insight into it after 7 episodes, give us something, that he's starting to realize whatever it is we're meant to think he's realizing.
It makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. It makes no sense.
Zero sense.
Ever since we've had the screeners for almost 2 months now, so I've seen been sitting with the scene all that time and trying to figure out what the answer is in terms of what has stopped Daryl.
Yeah.
And of course, as a Caroler, in my mind, it must be related to Carol, but it doesn't appear to be. But I can't figure it out. I don't know explanation I come up with makes sense with everything he says. None of them explain all of it. Yeah, okay, he didn't want to go back to from France. He didn't want to leave France because Commonwealth wasn't everything for him, and he'd found a family. Okay, that makes sense. But all right, but why did he leave in the first place? That doesn't explain that. I just and also I would just like to addendum 1.2 that was the only Daryl and Carol scene in the whole final episode, and in fact since episode 5.
Yeah,
that's
really silly.
To not have them talking about what their plans were, that to not have, we didn't get to see them reunite, and Carol to be so delighted he wasn't dead. Or it's becoming, should be spitting, more and more infuriating that they're just not putting them together. That it may as well be the Carol show, the Daryl show, and they've got these two stories, and that's that. And it's starting to feel like Carol is just there to prop up Daryl.
Absolutely, 100%.
We're not here for that. Thank you very much.
And and we're going to have an episode where we're going to talk about that a lot. After this one, so we're not done after this episode. We're gonna have one more too.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
But let's jump into our top 5.
And I just want to say, I said this on Twitter as well. How did they know to go to the lighthouse? Because when Daryl left, Roberto was going home to Solaz to recover because he was severely injured. And okay, a couple of people replied and were like, well, they would think it wasn't safe to bring Justina to town. Right, that makes sense. But then they shouldn't be expecting to see Roberto there. It should have been, oh, we'll just go to the lighthouse and see how things stand, and maybe we'll hear how Roberto is and whatever. But no, she runs up the stairs saying, oh, Roberto. So it's like they already knew Roberto was there. No, they didn't. Paz left before, when Paz left even, Roberto was still in Solaz and very ill. So how would they know? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't get it. By the way, Just an honorable mention to the fact that why was Daryl the only one that didn't have a full face mask?
Because.
I thought it was silly. I figured I just had to get my explanation for
Yes,
my
for
name
your
in there.
title, yes.
Um,
Dear. Okay, so let's go into the good things. We do have good things. So my
yeah.
number 5 is Alba the hero. I loved Alba. Hooray! I should have given her the MVP. Forget about Daryl. She and her mother take in Carol and Antonio at huge risk for their lives. And then when they're in the town centre with the walkers, Alba tries to throw Carol a weapon. Yay for Alba! Love her. Let's have her be and her and Paz and Justina as a new show. I'll watch that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally agree. I would too. I was actually thinking it would be funny if when they were in Solaz when Fede's guys were shooting and everything, if they had managed to kill Daryl and Carol and Antonio and Roberto and Justina just hopped on the boat together.
Yes,
That would have been kind of funny.
that would have been great. Yeah.
Um,
Okay, what's yours?
okay. So my number 5 was I really liked the Spanish version of Hurt playing at the
Oh
end.
yes, it was. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really good, and it sounded very Johnny Cash voice. That
It
same
did.
gravelly. I don't know who the version is by. It sadly didn't tell us on the closed caption. Sometimes it does tell you who's performing,
Yeah.
but it didn't.
No, it really did sound a lot like Johnny
Mhm,
Cash.
it did, yes.
By the way, speaking of uncredited things, the actor who plays young Daryl has not been credited,
No,
which is really strange.
he is credited. He just is the own. He's in because the reason is he doesn't have a line, but
Mhm.
young Meryl does. He is credited in one of them because I got his name from one of the episodes. So he is. I think he's credited the first time he appears.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, but
Um,
he really does look like young Norman
yeah, he
Reedus.
does.
It's very
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, he definitely does. But yeah,
Yeah,
so that was my number 5.
yeah. Okay, my number 4 is Valentina the hero.
Yeah,
There's a theme trending here. Um, I love that she managed to have the sense, and even though she says it was Roberto insisted, that she hid and is able to protect her lighthouse. And yeah, they're silly men coming in. Don't you know the rules of fighting that the person higher up in the stairs has the advantage over you?
yeah,
And she used her again. It was her harpoon gun, wasn't it, that she used to get one of the men, and she got injured in the process. Hooray for Valentina! I love her that she's even though Daryl turned up and was sexist to her. I love that she's been such a good friend to Carol and Daryl, and is badass. And I would again another person whose story I would love to know a lot more about her backstory, her time as a ship captain, what she's been doing since then. Really good character.
yeah. I agree. I like her a lot.
Mm.
Um, my number 4 was
Mhm.
Justina exposing Fede in front of everyone.
Yes.
And I did have and Donna Marga slapping him in there, but I'm taking that out because I'm mad at her for letting him go.
For letting him go.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that Justina knew the power she had in that moment because she knew Freddy wouldn't let her die because even though she's outing him and exposing him, he still loves her and feels he's made this promise to her father to protect her. So he's not going to let her die, and she knows that. And so she's walking through that town centre with this knowledge that she is safe and she will be protected, and she can use that. It's an example of privilege. She was
Yeah.
using her privilege to expose it and make things better, and used her privilege to then say, "Don't kill Freddie. Let's just put him in the dungeon." That was really good writing for a woman. Excellent writing.
Yeah, yeah, it was. It's interesting because like the weird thing about human nature is I don't think that most people who constantly do the right thing,
Hmm.
I don't know that that's as much of a choice as it is. It's just how somebody's programmed.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think human nature is to i- is to adapt to the hive mind, is to go
Hmm.
along with
Hmm.
the
Yeah,
crowd. I think that's true human nature.
yeah.
Um, and I don't when you have somebody who just can't help themselves from always having to do the right thing, whether it's popular or not, I don't think that's necessarily a choice.
Hmm.
Because I'm like that, and I know it's not a choice for me because believe me, I wish I wasn't like that.
Yeah, you're just compelled to do it. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what I love is that it's so Candela Saida,
Hmm.
her last name,
Yeah.
she's such a great actress,
Hmm.
and I love that I actually get that from her.
Yes.
Like she really like puts it out there. She makes you feel like I connected with her character almost immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she really kind of helps you feel like, okay, this is somebody who is compelled, who
Hmm.
can't,
Yeah.
maybe she wishes she could, maybe what she really wants to do is put her head down
Yeah.
and go along with everything, but she can't.
She
And
can't. Yes.
it's not often. I think it's hard to get that across.
Hmm.
It's not something that I've necessarily seen in a lot of the do-gooder characters, but I really
Yeah.
felt it with her.
Yes. Yeah. I think you're right, because that first scene where Roberto's saying, "No, let's leave them and go," even though that was what would have been best for them,
Yeah.
she just couldn't do it. Couldn't do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. That's really good. She was a really good character, and a lot of that is how well it's being sold by the actress, by Candela. Just
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
I could see her being a huge star. She's got everything
Oh,
going on, you know.
yeah, me too. It's funny. I think it's probably mostly physical, but she reminds me a lot of Lydia.
Yeah, yes, yeah,
Um,
I could see that definitely. Yeah. In my head, I had assumed, sort of before we'd really seen her, we'd seen the casting and kind of got an idea of the character. We would been told about this Romeo and Juliet. That I was thinking she was maybe going to be a lot like Judith, have that real sort of feistiness, but she wasn't. She was much softer and more sort of a much more sweeter. I mean, Judith is very sweet, but you know what I mean. Judith's a real feisty little girl, whereas I think I could see Candela representation of her is much more serene and soft, and wants beauty, and but with
yeah.
this core of like steel of standing up for what's right. Definitely, that was like Judith. Um, okay, so my third is another good choice for a female story was letting Elena and Paz kill Guillermo.
Yes.
Loved that. Yes. Let them do it together. The fact that Paz did it, so she ended his life, so that it wasn't on Elena's conscience, that she wouldn't have to live with that, because obviously Paz is killed before. She's got no qualms about it, so she took it on herself. I loved that. That was the culmination of their story. Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked that too. And my number 3 is yeah, that they get to be together now.
Yay!
And Elena even has an adorable little son. I mean, granted, he came about in
Yeah.
not a very ideal way. Like,
No.
it would be best if he wasn't there at all,
Yeah.
'cause, because of how he was conceived. But, but still, he's adorable. Pablo, is that his name?
Yeah, Pablo, yeah.
Yeah, Pablo was adorable. And I love that, they're together with Pablo now, and
Mhm.
Guillermo's dead, and yeah, I love it. I
Yes.
loved Daryl's comment. Was it Daryl who said that at the end? I hope the kid's not driving.
Driving, yes. I love that. I love when they give Daryl comedy lines because he's really good at it. And it's
Yeah,
just, his little wry comments. That reminds me of season one Daryl. So I love when they do that. Should
yeah,
definitely do it more.
yeah, I
Very
agree.
cute kids. So they've got a nice little family. I mean, the fact they got a happy ending altogether was just, you just assume it's not going to happen because it's The Walking Dead and they're so in love, and so you just go, oh, well, one of them's going to die. But no, the fact they got their happy ending, they got to go off together, is just brilliant.
Yes.
My number two is Carol bare-fisted punching walkers. I can't tell you how much I love that.
Yes.
We see Antonio wrapping the chain round his hand. That makes sense. No, not Carol, just Bosch. She was just going like this. I just love this so much. Like, yeah, you've nothing. You might as well just give it a good go.
Yeah. 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 She's done that a lot, I
Yes,
over the years, and I
yes.
enjoy it every time.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, I loved when she punched the Whisperer when they were interrogating the Whisperer in season 10. I just love when Carol punches men in the face.
that one was great because she put her ring on
Yes,
right before she did it.
yes.
Like, I'm
Very
gonna make
good.
it hurt a little extra.
Excuse me. Yes, totally.
Yeah, I like that. Um, yeah, this is actually kind of a a high and a low.
Mhm.
Um, I thought the whole, like, smuggling Antonio and Carol out of the house was kinda cool.
Mm.
I thought it was well done, and I really enjoyed it. But I couldn't, like, the con part of it is really had to suspend my disbelief as to why these gentlemen were being so polite and just repeatedly pounding on the door and yelling and not busting. Why, like, are these guys all, like, 80-pound weaklings? Are they children who just sound like men? Why are they not busting down the door?
I had to suspend my disbelief when they took them into the house because I thought, is nobody watching where they're going? And they're just like,
Yeah,
okay, gunfight over this way. We're just going to get this nipping into this house for a bit. It
yeah,
seems such a weird thing. Normally, you would expect them to, get as far away as possible, but no, they were just like, yeah, we'll just go
yep,
in this house.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I thought it was really cool the way they got them out the back door, and it reminded me of last season when Dee Dee was helping Carol and Daryl get out, and they went into the down the stairs and she gave them the gun, and
Yeah,
so
that was
it was
great.
yeah, of course that was Carol and Daryl together. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
those days are over.
that's what this show is supposed to be.
Yes, exactly. It was, yeah. So my number one is like you, and it's a plus and a minus. It's the Carol and Daryl scene. I loved that it happened, but what I really loved about it is that Daryl was talking about his feelings.
Yeah,
And all this season, we've just seen him, look brooding and upset, and we've got to guess what he's thinking. And here he's saying it. And what I love most is that he's looking directly into Carol's eyes as he talks. That setup of having them sitting sort of in what they call a lover's bench seat. Where the seats are sort of facing each other, so
yeah,
that they're looking directly into each other's eyes. Um, it would have been so easy to have them. We've seen a lot of scenes of Carol and Daryl talking about their emotions, angsty scenes where they're sitting side by side and looking off into the distance. We've seen so many of them, but this is an evolution of it because they're sitting face to face, and Daryl is looking her square in the eyes when he says, "I don't know what I'm doing here. I have this fear," and I think that's huge. Excuse me, and I would love to see more of that. It's a shame that it's only this one scene.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Um, my number one is El Alcazar just being destroyed. No
Yay!
more Ofrenda. No more stupid pig race.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't assume. I mean, are they going to go back to Solaz now? Like, I have no idea.
No.
Um, but I mean, we still have Fede to deal with.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't like it could go either way with him. Like,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
if
He could.
Fede goes back to Solaz, everybody could decide to lynch him and publicly execute him, or they could be like, they could
Yeah.
welcome him back,
Yeah.
and he could be fakely, he could be fake conciliatory, and they'll welcome him back because he's manipulating everybody. I don't know,
Yeah. He could,
but
if the Alcazar men come, he could say, I'm here. I believe in the town, and I want to help defend the town, and they would join together for that purpose.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know where it's going in that sense.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of kind of balls up in the air still,
Mm-hmm.
to see what happens with that. But yeah, I'm glad that, I'm super glad that there's no more Frenda, and it's, El Alcazar has been
Yeah.
essentially destroyed.
Yes.
So
I
yay for
well,
that.
one of the scenes that I thought you missed a chance there is when Daryl kills the king. I really, really expected him to say "Long live the king."
Yes.
When he stabbed him, I was like, "No, come on, you've got to have the little quip." But no, sadly didn't.
Yeah, exactly. And also I loved seeing the walkers kill everybody because
Yes,
it was a bunch of people that should have died
yes.
because they're all terrible.
As a Republican, not in the American sense of the word, but as I don't believe in a royal, a royal society. Hurrah! Eat the rich.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's funny because yesterday was No King's Day,
Hmm.
and it was this was kind of like, so it felt almost kind of appropriate that
Yes.
that this episode is taking place now, because it's like, hey, post-apocalyptic Spain is also celebrating No King's Day in a
free,
different kind of
free,
way.
freeing itself from royal tyranny. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, I still hate the season.
Hmm.
Um, if you like it, that's great. I think it's extremely valid to like it if you didn't sign up to watch a Carol and Daryl spinoff.
Yes, exactly. If you are somebody who enjoys Daryl alone, who really loves the action, the Walker stuff, and even the story, as I was going to say, is that I liked that this story. I think I said it at the start of the season, is much more personal story. It's a rather than last season we were dealing with this huge issue of religion and a savior, and then Janae as the a ruling force, a dictator, and the whole country. I like that this felt more like the story of a small town, of the people in it. Um, I think that was, and I could understand that people who are not as invested in Daryl and Carol's relationship as a pair, not as a romantic couple, but just as a pair, would enjoy it. And also, if you are not somebody who, like us, is constantly aware of issues of feminism, and because a lot of people who are completely are feminists and woke whatever, but can just switch that bit of their brain off when they're watching and go, it's fiction, who cares? But I just can't, and you can't either. We're people who are always aware of that kind of thing, and it bothers us. Whereas if you can watch it and go, yeah, it's problematic, but who cares, then good for you, you can enjoy it freely. And I've no bother in saying, yeah, enjoy it. I hope you do enjoy it. And enjoy the fights and the action and the walkers.
Yeah.
It's just for us as viewers, it's not what we took from the main show, and it's not what we're looking for in this show.
Yeah, agreed. But we will have plenty to talk about because we are going to do a follow-up episode for the first time because we have too much to talk about.
Yes, basically.
And then once that's done, then the next thing for Cyborg Queen is Welcome to Derry starts Sunday the 26th, which Jazz and I are going to be covering. Very excited. I will I'll be posting a little something about it when the embargo lifts on the 22nd. But really excited, looking forward to that. And then once we're done with our follow-up episode, we'll also be jumping into Buffy.
Yay!
So that'll be really fun too. I'm looking forward to that. And then in January we're going to be I won't be covering it, but Jazz and Steve will be covering the Game of Thrones prequel.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see that, and I'm really glad to hear that Jazz and Steve are covering it, because it of all the mooted spin-offs that there were going to be from Game of Thrones, this is the only one I was really interested in, so I'm really glad.
Oh, cool. I have never seen Game of Thrones. Can you believe it?
Wow!
Yeah,
well,
never seen it.
It's another one. It's another one where it was so good, and then it just was really.
I've heard. Yeah. I've heard there have been a lot of parallels drawn to Dexter in that sense.
Yes, I can imagine. Yeah, with the last episode being the worst thing ever, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but Dexter's amazing now, so that's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Just as a reminder, I'm still struggling with the issue I'm having with my arm, so we're not editing. So if any of this, was a little clunky at all, I apologize. I just don't have the physical capacity to edit right now. I want to give, unfortunately, we did not get enough comments on our last video to do a giveaway, but if we get at least 10 comments from multiple people, we will do another virtual giveaway. I also want to give a shout out to Fairy Quartz, who always comments on our videos, which I appreciate so much. But I wanted to give a shout out to Fairy Quartz because I didn't realize that you weren't even watching the show. You're just following along with our coverage. And because they commented this on our last video, and you've been with Cyborg Queen for a long ass time. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you following our coverage for this, even though you're not watching that shit. I know, she mentioned that they're a Rosita fan. So
all right, yeah.
No, definitely, Walking Dead. Familiar with Walking Dead history, but not following this one. But I appreciate you're always commenting on our videos each week, and just being so lovely all the time in general, and for your support. And I didn't get to respond to comments this week because I was in really bad shape physically, but I just wanted to give you a shout out because I just wanted to let you know we appreciate you. But yeah, please guys, leave us comments, and if we get enough, we will do a giveaway. I mean, again, it's just a little simple something, but it's virtual, so you don't have to be in the US to win it. But Dawn, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter, DawnGlenn2, if you want to talk to me about the things. But you can also find me my writing and podcasting on thecustardtv.com, where I do TV reviews. Currently reviewing the BBC series Riot Women, which, if you are a menopausal woman into rock music, is absolutely for you. Fantastic.
And check that out.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And weekly reviews of Slow Horses, another brilliant show. and also on Made for TV, MAID, where we talk about issues of women and underrepresented groups in television.
Always important.
Yeah.
You can find me right here. And also, I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not, but Yellow Jackets season 4, they announced it would be the last season. So I started this new podcast, this new Cyborg Queen podcast, where I was planning on putting everything that wasn't Yellow Jackets and Dexter, but we're just going to move everything over to the Antler Queens now. I don't know if we'll ever change that. We may actually just change Cyborg Queen back to the Antler Queens. I'm not sure yet. I really have no idea. It seems the Antler Queens seems like a weird name for, to be covering all these other shows, because it just doesn't have much meaning. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But you can find the Antler Queens wherever you listen to podcasts, and we put everything on the channel as well. We are also launching our fan pack initiative, and which will include live streams and a whole bunch of other fun stuff that we're working on that I'm super, super excited about, that I'll be able to talk about soon. But part of that is, it's part of a larger goal to kind of find ways to encourage kinder and more compassionate interactions in fandoms. And as part of that, I've started an account for us on the extremely new social media platform Kinder, KYNDR. I'm sorry, it's KYNDER, not R. Yeah. Or no, it is KYNDR. I'm sorry, guys. KYNDR. It's a brand new social media platform. Like, almost no one is on it yet. But it's, the way it's set up is fantastic. And if some of you decide to check it out, please look us up. We're at Cyborg Queen over there. And I would love to connect with you over there, because it's they're kind of like, their philosophy is very similar to ours, and they're kind of trying to achieve similar things through social media, which I appreciate. So please go find us over there. We're also on Blue Sky, Facebook, and Instagram. Basically, all of the social media sites, we are Cyborg Queen Media. Other than Kinder, we're just Cyborg Queen. X, we are not currently on, but I will be bringing that back soon for a very specific reason, which I'll explain more later. But we're at Cyborg Queen TV, so you can jot that down for later, for when we come back. But that's it for now. Like I said, we'll be back with one more episode before we cut out and never have to talk about Daryl Dixon again until next season. So, Dawn, anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No, thank you for listening to us, and we'll get through it together. It's how we get through it, and hopefully we've helped you get through the season.
Awesome. All right, guys, that's it for us. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. We're out. Bye.
Bye.